Welcome. Hey, beautiful.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Jen.
Hello.
We're just having a few technical issues. People are wondering where's the Zoom link and they haven't registered. So I'm like, that's why you haven't got it.
Yeah, and Zoom has been a bit funny with all the upgrades lately. I've found sometimes I've gone to log in and it says, you no longer have an account. I'm going, yeah, I do. I pay for this.
Oh, gosh. I'm just going to check. I'll just give it a few more moments before we open up. Just to make sure. Okay.
Maybe making breakfast.
Oh, cool. We got a few more. Here we go. Check one more time. Hey, welcome.
Hi.
Hey, Lizzie. Hey, Millie.
Hey, Lizzie.
How are you?
Good,
All?
thank you.
Good.
Okay. Sorry, it's a bit late. Oh, don't worry. Divine timing. We're all here. I was actually a bit late with opening up the space. So, yeah, we're here. What I'll get everyone to do is I'll just keep an eye on people popping in. I'll just change my settings to gallery room. Perfect. And if you're not already, if you could just pop yourself on mute, and that way it just stops the echoing in the background for what we're going to be going over, which means it means that I can hear myself and also the other versions of myself talk at the same time, whether it's spirit, source energy, my higher self, and it just makes it a whole lot less confusing for me. I'm just going to give it one more minute. But if you'd all like to start off today with your intentions, like everything, and like you're going to see this word and this theme come through with within everything that we speak into today. But I would love you to really declare that out to the universe, like what your intentions are today. In the respect of what are you looking to illuminate in regards to old, outdated paradigm illusions around fear-based ideologies, around stepping into or really stepping into this next level embodiment of being of service. So what is it that you're wanting to shatter, to break through, to truly kind of embody? What does that look like uniquely for each and every one of you? If you just want to type it in the chat box at the bottom, you should find it for those of you that are new with Zoom. And whilst you're doing that, I am just going to admit someone else in. Beautiful. Oh, they're gone now. Okay, we'll just start. So welcome to Soulmates Business Mastermind. This is a mastermind that I've created literally, as I mentioned, for the intention of breaking down and breaking through these outdated beliefs that I, first and foremost, have had to work through myself when creating and expanding within a soul-led business, but also it's things that pop up with my one-on-one clients that I also find come through, and very, very strong themes as well. So I thought it'd be very fitting for those that are interested of having some unique ways and strategies when having a spirit-led business, on how you can really learn to be the energy and manifest true wealth by learning to break down these old, outdated Wolf of Wall Street paradigm beliefs that have been around for far too long, that they're just yuck. They're beliefs that are created around being filled with manipulation. They take no for an answer kind of mentality. It's, I guess, not full disclosure, kind of like selling from your soul, like heart-based services. So it's time to like let go and release that, and really step into embodying this new paradigm way of being of service. So I'm just going to read your messages. You would like to break your lack of motivation with your side hustle. Ooh, that's a good one. And Lizzie, you've got to lead women into their birthright of divine feminine power. That is delicious. I love that. With that, what if you were to kind of see if there's a block or a limiting belief? What is stopping you from seeing that is like your truth, that is what you're doing, Lizzie? Is there anything that you feel is that you have this kind of resistance, the resistance around that's truly stopping you from embodying that? And then you've got, I'm here to further deepen your clarity on how to move forward with your transformational business. I love that, because having a soul-led business is all about the transformations. Each unique transformation is going to be different based on your story, your skill set, what you have to offer. But the transformation in itself, and we're going to speak into this a little bit deeper when we talk into kind of like your abundance, your money mindset, your money belief system, is that when you look into this deeper, you're looking into this in the sense of a transformation itself, not how much time you spend with a client, and that's kind of what you receive in exchange for that. So I really love that word a lot, and it's something that I actually started off with within myself as a transformational health and life coach. Jan, to let go of your fears patterns regarding your worth and the energy exchange with what you're offering. Woohoo! That's so cool. The worth, and is that so with also taps in and links into abundance as well, like worthy, that you can receive like the true value of your price. I love that. We're going to be going into that. Hello, Isaac and family. What I'll just get you to do is I'll just get you to pop yourself on mute, and just use the chat box to start off with. And Lizzie just said to truly let go and trust yourself, your intuition, your soul path completely, that your worth, your energy exchange to know my worth and what I've been through has been for divine reason. Beautiful. I love this. So many divine synchronicities, and this is exactly what I've channeled through for today. That's awesome. For you who's just jumped on, I'm just going to refer to as your Zoom name, Isaac and family. What we're just doing is we are setting the intention for what it is that you're wanting to receive from this mastermind. What are you wanting to illuminate? What are you wanting to break through the glass ceiling around shattering beliefs that have been lingering around for far too long, that are not of service for your highest good, your purpose, your mission, and the impact that you came here to make? I just have a funny feeling that somebody else, Lizzie, Jan, you've messaged, you're here. I feel like, I'm just going to double check one last time. Sorry. I thought I was right. Lupe's just wanting to jump on. So I'm just going to see if I can quickly invite, copy. I don't know why it works for some people, it doesn't for others, but that's okay. The technology, as you were saying, Jan, it does interesting things. Sorry, Isaac and family is Lindsay. Okay, thank you so much. I will stop referring to you as Isaac and family. That's awesome. Perfect. So Lupe, I believe Lupe and Azalea are jumping on as well. But let's get started. So I just want to welcome each and every one of you for taking time out of your day to be and really anchor in your intentions and work with what content has been channeled through in this sacred container. Like all investments, and when we talk into like the worthiness of abundance, the energetic exchanges, your time is also a form of abundance. So you're actually investing in saying yes within yourself to be here in this present moment. So you should all celebrate yourself within that, because the more that you realize that energy exchanges are a variation of multiple different things, and the more intentionally you do work like this is then also going to be a reflection in the people that you're calling in, those soulmate clients, to come and do work on the same level that you would intentionally do for yourself as well. There we go. Welcome, Lupe. Connecting. Welcome. Hey, beautiful. We're just setting our intentions of what we're wanting to get out of this course, what we're wanting to let go of. You'll be able to see in the chat box. Other than that, you haven't missed out on anything. And also what I'll just get you to do is just put your mute, yeah, onto it. Already know, we're just telepathically communicating. Okay, so to start from the beginning, today I'm going to share with you some unique ways of having a spiritual-led business. And what I mean by that is leading your business from an extension of yourself, an extension of your soul, working with your intuition, working with your bodily consciousness, yourself as a channel, and using and incorporating your story, your ancient knowledge and wisdom that you have within you, all your life experiences, and kind of framing that out beautifully in a way of sharing this abundance of knowledge, wisdom that you have in a spirit-led business, whatever your unique services look like to you. You'll all have your own unique soul purposes. And within this, what you're looking at breaking down and working with is mastering the art of manifesting true wealth. And by doing this, most common themes that I see within myself and within spiritual entrepreneurs that I work with in one-on-one containers and settings, or even these themes come through in like my spiritual circle psychic development classes as well, because I truly see when you're working on your intuition, when you're working on like your psychic development, when you're working on like evolving on a conscious level, it's not just all the spiritual woo-woo kind of stuff that you have to do. You have to work on your personal self, like your humanness, this third dimensional aspect of yourself, to be able to grow on an intuitive level as well. Because what I see is that people say, for example, if I put it in the context of you're wanting to work on the skill set of mediumship, right? And that's all that you focus on. And yes, there are exercises that you can tap into to execute and channel messages from people that have passed over. But what will happen is that you almost get to this glass ceiling again, because some way or another, there's going to be a common theme or a common thread that's going to come through in your personal life that's going to stop you from continuing to evolve and mastering the art of this particular skill set, whether it be like fears, for example, or limiting beliefs that you have in trust, belief, confidence in the work that you do. This humanness is somehow going to overlap in the skill set that you have with working with your intuition. That's only going to enable you to get to a certain level. And then when you get to this level and you see that you're not advancing or going any further with this, is, well, what are these themes that are coming up within this sacred work that you're doing that you need to work on, which is why you flip between the two. And when you're working on one, you're actually working on the other, but you have to work on vice versa. You can't just solely focus on one. So where I am going to help you today is bridge the gap to learn to leap into soulful alignment by being guided by your intuition, but also incorporating soulful strategy, not just like the human third dimensional strategy. Yes, it's important to have an understanding of how that works, but it's more learning and understanding how to work from a soul level. So what is so important with this and learning and being led by your intuition, and I know all of you, just by feeling into your energies, and those that I know personally, like intuition is like the base primarily of the work that you do. But your mission is so important, and that your soul clients are literally waiting for your medicine to be shared, your message of your work to be heard, your offers that you can literally provide, as I mentioned earlier, through your story, through your journey, through your experiences, and through your very unique skill sets. Yes, there may be generalized themes in the work that you do, but no one can actually deliver and channel or share messages or create whatever it is, whether it's physical creations. No one can actually create them the way that you would do. There's always that unique element to it. And that's another belief that I see is like, oh, there's so many people out there that are channels or mediums or psychics. And it's like, well, why am I the point of difference? What am I going to be offering that's any different to the next person that's holding a beautiful circle or a beautiful event? Well, your point of difference is you, your story, the way you deliver it. People, and you probably find this, is that if I put it in the context, I'll take it back a little bit. I'm going a little bit off track, but not really. When you play with an oracle card deck, right, and you're pulling yourself a beautiful card spread, this is something that is part of like my sacred morning rituals, and quite often you pull the same oracle card day after day after day, and you're like, what? Like, come on, like, please gift me something different to work on. I feel like I've worked on this. But the message there is, it's the same, but it's the depth of the message that obviously you're not integrating, you're not downloading the understanding of it to its core to be able to move forward. It's the same that I find also when I'm reading for people, and people have been told like, oh, you're the fourth psychic that has told me the same thing. But now I'm hearing it differently, that I'm actually going to utilize this information and make a difference. Yes, I delivered it differently, but really at its core, the content was no different to the other four people beforehand. But this is your unique point of difference, is the way that you share the message, the words that you use, the vibration, the frequency that you emit, your story. This is your medicine. So your soul clients are literally waiting for you to shine your light so bright that they can see that your medicine is on offer, that you believe that you're worthy to share your medicine, and that your messages within your work can offer and provide incredible transformations that are literally going to help activate codes, templates, knowledge and wisdom, maybe understanding their intuition, how their intuition speaks to them, so then they can use this information and be empowered with it themselves in their everyday life, depending on what it is that you're offering. I'm just kind of generalizing it based on who we've got here. But within this, you should never, ever underestimate your power and your ability to make a massive difference. And that, again, within itself is what I see is one of like the most the biggest catalyst that actually stops people from stepping into their soul work, to being that point of difference, knowing that they are, not only by shining their light, their truth, their expression, their soul essence, but by them actually truly coming out of their shell, stepping out of, whether it's the spiritual closet, but really embodying and anchoring in their truth, and realizing by them doing that, that is the point of difference in the world. You don't even need to sell a service. This is your state of being. This is just happening naturally by you just being who you are, that true expression of yourself. But if you're wanting to take it deeper, which I'm sure you all are, that's why you're here, to look at it in a business context, then for you to step into this next level of embodiment, it's literally going to require you to do something different. This is not new. You've all heard of this before. The definition literally of insanity is expecting different results doing the same thing. And I know that you're not all insane. So now's your time to be the change, to be the difference in order to get different results. So this is literally going to require you to anchor in your medicine, to share your values, whatever way of offering that looks like. And seeing that selling is not this wolf of Wall Street, like old paradigm, like yuckiness, that selling is literally a way of being part of service, guiding, helping, nourishing, teaching, leading, channeling, creating, whatever that is for you. Oh, thanks, guys. Welcome, Lepe. Sorry, Azalea. Sorry, the twin energy going on there, even though you're not. So selling is, again, I'm going to say this again because it's really important. Selling is being of service. Selling is not selling because you want money. Yes, that is a byproduct, obviously, that within the energy exchange, but you're not doing it with the purpose of just selling to receive money. You're doing it with the purpose of selling through a divine intention of what it is that you're creating. Your offering is creating, going back to what was mentioned before in the chat box, is the point of difference and the transformation that you're offering. So business is not about selling your soul. And again, this is an old paradigm belief, like this hustle and this flow energy. Having a soulfully business is not about selling your soul. It's about becoming a magnetic match energetically for your wildest manifestations to anchor into this present timeline. And knowing that you can literally manifest by being an energetic match what it is that you desire through active manifestation and quantum time. You can't just, it's not just about, and I mean this with love, I'm not discrediting ways of practicing the art of manifestation. My interpretation, my understanding is that it's not just like, okay, I'm going to put this out there and then I'm not going to do anything and be an active participant and bringing in, you're laughing. But this is a real thing, Jen. You probably see, like, I'm going to visualize and I'm going to sit there and hold this. Yes, this is part of the sacred art of activating and manifesting and getting really clear. But you need to be an active participant within your manifestations. You need to also work in alignment, working and emitting these frequencies to be able to bring them forward. And I don't mean that you need to work harder. You need to work on that state of being, knowing that this is already a part of you, that you already have whatever it is that you're manifesting in this present moment. And then showing up that way, feeling into, really anchoring in, activating all your senses, and just being. It's just a state of being. Manifest them in quantum and time. So, and with saying that, my intention and hope for all of you is to see how truly divine and important your unique soul's missions are. And that not just within yourself, but on like a humanity, worldly, planetary like existence as well. And what I'm about to share with you and speak into, as I've mentioned, is to help you break through the glass ceiling of some of the things that you've already declared to the universe as well. Azalea, I don't know if you want to type in the chat box like what it is that's maybe stopping you from stepping, embodying, anchoring, or taking your soul's work to the next level. So you're just really putting it out there and declaring that to the universe. Although you might be at work, so you might not be able to. So I can see your beautiful room in the back. So my intention for you is to really highlight some of the biggest illusions that I've come from in business. And as I've kind of alluded to you, is the concept around hustle versus flow. We're looking at the energetics. Success equals suffering. Success doesn't equal suffering. But sometimes suffering can be a catalyst of your success. Guidance you seek is external to you. Hey, doggy. We're looking at debunking that one. The amount of money you earn equals your self-worth. The success to succeed, you must not be of service for free. There isn't enough abundance for everyone. There is. You must sacrifice your lifestyle for work. And what I'm going to help you understand and align with is your purpose, to be able to see and understand that challenges are opportunities of growth and expansion. To learn to trust your intuition and the subtle nudges of the universe. To see every opportunity as a chance to anchor in your purpose and mission. To look at working with the infinite universal resources and energy, knowing that there is enough for everyone. We're going to have a look at following your unique purpose to gain your soul fulfillment. And working with frequencies of the abundant state to be able to magnetize more abundance. And again, none of these concepts are new, but what happens is that when we become so passionate about the work and like sharing the work, or like having this incredible idea that literally you have become, that you are the vessel, you're the chosen person to share and deliver this experience, this transformation to people, for people to be of service. But there are these little things that are stopping you from being in total alignment for manifesting your heart's truest desires. And one of the biggest ones, which, as I said, which I see stops so many people from stepping into their soul's work, is letting go of the fear and the resistance and stepping into the unknown, and knowing that their transformations that they're offering, their services, their experiences through their connections, through these co-creations, these exchanges, learning that these offers far exceed the fear of you offering it, the transformations. So again, fear is one of the biggest catalysts that stops people showing up to even be of service, or being of service in the way that is their truest expression. They're diluting their sparkle, they're diluting their potency, they're diluting their magnetism. Why do we do that? You might want to comment, like, why are you afraid of being truly seen and heard? This for me is something that I try and create, especially in my psychic development group, because for me, growing up as a child, being attuned and being able to see and hear and connect with spirits around me, my family did not get that. I did not have the support within my close community, my close family, or at school to be able to express this side of me. So even this is like a really deep childhood wound, or this fear, this resistance, like it's very, very real. And when I was guided and my whole world crumbled around me because I wasn't listening to those subtle nudges, I wasn't listening to my intuition, I wasn't listening and following where I was being led, it took for something really drastic to happen for me to step into this path of working down these old outdated paradigm beliefs, but also really letting go and feeling the fear and doing it anyway, feeling into the soul work. And then even when I started out, I don't know, for those of you that don't know my journey, I started out as a transformational health and life coach. I started out as an undercover agent, an undercover psychic. I didn't share with people that I would be receiving information intuitively to help them in coaching sessions. And I would offer like 90-day transformational like experiences based on working on their health. But yes, I had a framework. Yes, I had the knowledge, and I had like the westernized I guess methodologies to support me in coaching. But my intuition and my higher self, spirit, source energy, whatever you want to refer to it as, other people's spirit guides would come through and be like, da la la, like, you need to go and tell them this. And it was when I combined the two that they had the deep transformational changes. And they're like, how did you know that? Like, where did that even come from? And I'd be like, oh, the undercover agent, like, got my black coat on, got my hat on, like, can't share with them because it wasn't, I wasn't in a position where I was fully disclosing my truth, my soul essence. But also part of that was the fear of being seen and actually sharing this part of me. But this is so deeply ingrained. But again, it took me, I think it was for about maybe a year to a year and a half, being an undercover agent before I fully and completely stepped out of the spiritual closet and actually acknowledged this part of myself, letting go of this fear of being seen and heard in my truth, sharing my true expression. So I'm just going to read your comments. Lupe, your limiting beliefs that you're currently busting, and I know that you're so dedicated on busting through them, which is amazing. You would say self-doubt and fear of being judged. It's a real thing, right? And on that note, when I just had this feeling about you, Lupe, joining today, and I was like, I've just got to go and check like one more time. And then, yeah, here you and your sister are. But and just checking and going in, like sharing the information on how you can connect in this container, I was doing that through my phone. I just came across this message on my phone of someone that had commented like a really nasty comment on one of my pictures, and it was really, really interesting because had they have done this, and actually it was like such a bizarre comment, I don't even know why they needed to get this off their chest, but had they commented and shared, and this doesn't happen, so what this means for me is that I will go and reflect and cleanse and clear up my energy field and see internally what it is within me. But this is a perfect example right now to share in the present moment. What it is that I'm not allowing to be truly seen and heard, or really anchoring in. I know my worth. I know that there was a divine intention for me to share this particular post, this message, the content within it, share it with this particular picture. I was intuitively guided, supported within that. So for me now, actually speaking into it and doing the work internally at the moment, was just actually reconfirming how far I've come along the scale of letting fear derail me from actually showing up and sharing what I feel I am intuitively guided to share, and help and create transformations for other people to realize that they truly have the potential to do exactly the same thing. And not normally, I've worked a lot in really anchoring in like my purpose, my mission, my impact, who I have come here to serve, my truth, who I am, learning to love who I am. And this is not saying that I completely love who I am. I'm learning to love, learning to fall in love with myself, and knowing that I'm worthy, that I'm enough. And normally I would have emotional reaction to that. However, I saw that and it like almost kind of made me laugh in the moment, was like, wow, like I really just need to send you more love, because what are you not having within your world, within your existence, that makes you deem that it is actually right to say or pass on a message and a comment like that. And we're actually going to go into this a little bit deeper. But instead of reacting in that moment, and again, now whilst working with this right in the present, I see myself as I've able to look at this from different perspectives from myself, seeing this as a confirmation of how far I've come with letting things like that derail me, by really knowing my worth, my purpose, and that I was divinely guided to share that particular message, and that it doesn't really mean anything. For me, I'm probably going to go and finish this course today, send them a bit of love, just double check that I haven't overlooked anything, and use this as an opportunity of growth, rather than get caught up in my emotions and let this stop me from sharing and continuing what my soul work is. I'm just going to read a few more of your messages. Self-doubt and fear. So yes, this is, I'm going to stop there actually. So I'm going to talk into this soon. Millie, yeah, me too. Stagnant childhood wounds, who always thought I was a little weird and out the gate, but in the best way, Millie. On the surface level, I don't give a shit what people think, but deep down on a soul level, I clearly do. I let the fear of judgment stop me from being of service. And I know also that this is something that you've spoken into about really being seen and heard in your soul work and taking this to the next level. So the fact that you all are commenting around having awareness of what it is within fear that's stopping you, now you get to work with that. So now you get to go really deep with that. And again, if I take it back to my personal experience of stepping out of the spiritual closet, taking off my cloak and my hat and not being an undercover agent anymore, when I decided that I was like, this is who I was and that was okay to be seen and heard, as soon as I did that, as soon as I had that acknowledgement, and then not only within myself, I put it out there and said, hey, look, I made a big post about it. I made a big deal about it. And then to actually do that was like a divine sacred journey within itself, because there was like, well, what if like friends and family don't get it? And then what if like work people don't get it? Being in a corporate environment, like it was very, very, very vulnerable. And I don't discredit the vulnerability in being seen and heard. But again, it goes back to understanding and knowing that what you have to offer, the transformation and you sharing your light, sharing your services, sharing your worth, is far greater than the fear, the resistance that you are feeling, and not getting lost in that. So again, one of my favorite mottos that I used to recite all the time is feel the fear and do it anyway. Whenever I had this big fear and I had this big blocks about having like channeled information downloaded to me about what my next step is or the next way of being of service, I would be like, no, you've got to be kidding me. Like, you're not asking me to do that. Me, who am I to go and do and share and channel this information? I was like, you've got it wrong. Like, what the hell, guys? Like, I can't do that. I remember that nearly 2 years ago now, I got guided to go and run like an in-person psychic development workshops on a monthly basis. And again, I went through the same process. Like, who am I? Like, in amongst people that have got lots of experience, lots more knowledge, more credentials than me. There's other like well-established psychic development groups here in the Manawatu region. I was like, why would people come and see me? And I was like, well, I'm being guided. This is the next step. This is the next level of embodiment that I have to. I don't have to, because obviously you have conscious choice. I'll be careful with my language. But I'm being guided to step into. And I remember the first day that I showed up to hold that group, I had about 30 people come to my first event, which was pretty amazing, considering some of the other psychic development groups that I've been to, not always would have, like, to me, that was like quite a significantly large number of people. I had facial twitches going. I was like, really? Why did you make me like go here? I was sweating beadlets, and like the people, I had tears. I anchored in the transformation, the experience. I was prepared and going there, but not so prepared that I couldn't let spirit come in and divinely guide me within the spirit circle. And then I walked away and I was like, okay, That is why. The fear and that resistance is literally this next level embodiment of your soul's growth. So there are reasons why you feel this fear, this resistance there. But within that, that's an opportunity for you to work through, break through that limiting belief in order to gain this further soulful fulfillment. Now, where was I going with that? Yeah, so letting go of fear of stepping in the unknown, knowing that the transformation you offer is far greater and exceeds the fear of you offering it. So just really wanted to make that really clear. Jan, your childhood due to sexual abuse was to stay hidden and not seen and heard now, and you're stepping out of that. That is massive, Jan, and that, like, within your own story, your knowledge, your wisdom through experience, the spaces that you hold with your womb, like your sacred womb work, it's no surprise why you find that this is needed for people to know and understand how to, I guess, explore and tap into the sacredness of this work. That's incredible, that you can share that and being seen and heard in that. And same here, Millie, you were all weird. That's what makes us special. Yeah, it really does. That is what makes us special. Like, I was very much the outcast, the weirdo, had all the labels thrown at me, and now I see that as actually I stood out. I was vulnerable in sharing the knowledge, the wisdom. I felt safe enough to do that, even though then that was perceived as learned behavior not to do that, to not be safe. So now I have the opportunity of rewriting that, letting that go. But in saying that, the first, actually, I'm going to ask you a question. So my question for all of you is, what is it that you really want to do? What is it like in this present moment? If it's like you're just starting out with stepping into your soul work and you're like looking at creating a soulful business, if it is looking at in the context of like offering a new service, or maybe if it is like in the context of maybe you offering more money for a particular service, creating that energetic exchange, the worthiness and the transformation of what you're offering. Whatever it is, I want you to type it in the box. What is it that you really want to do in this present moment? What does that look like for you? Wow. Stepping out to be a coach. Lupe, you already are a coach. They love that. Whilst you're doing that, I want you then to think about, what do you believe you need to do or have in order to do what it is that you really want to do? So in your case, Lupe, it is you want to be a coach. What do you believe you need to have in order to do what you really want to do? So in a nutshell, what's stopping you? I want to help women to conceive all kinds of creation, physical, metaphysical, and artistic. Oh my gosh, that is delicious. I love that. I love the word conceive too, because that is literally how I describe my downloads. I birth them into existence. I give them their own soul. I give them their own energy. With everything that I do, every service I offer has its own unique energy, its vibration, its own soul, its own intentions, its own unique transformations. And of course, because they're all different, some of which overlap and go back to my core foundations of my pillars of what I offer and the work and my intentions in the work that I do. But I love that word conceive. That is awesome. Figure out what I'm good at, if anything. Oh my gosh, yes, good at so many things. So that there again, if I was to frame that up into like belief and worthiness, core energies, core frequencies for you to work with. And again, if you were to go a little bit deeper than that, as I was saying, like your soul meets business, your soulful business is an extension of you, who you are, your story, your experiences, what you've been through, the knowledge, the wisdom, everything that you've attained up into this present point in this lifetime. But also, if you look at it from a more multifaceted, multidimensional level, again, depending on what you're looking at, past lifetimes as well, the universal knowledge that lies within you. But again, this all comes through what lights you up, what excites you, what do you spend your time doing, what are your passions. This is part of your soulful purpose. So this is literally where you start by figuring it out. Stepping into shadow work, the deep, raw and real healing, also bringing the dragon energy and frequencies to its truest light. That is incredible. Azalea, you said you want to help women with self-love and confidence. I love that. Do you guys see also, and for some of you, the themes that are coming through is like it's already a part of you, and a part of like those limiting beliefs are essentially what's stopping you from truly embodying that, but it's already a part of you, like Azalea, looking at this, like wanting to help people with self-love and confidence. Like this is, and I know with having worked with you and having the pleasure of being in your energetic field, like this is something that you choose and like you regularly, consistently show up and work on within yourself. Lizzie, to fully step into your path to help others know that they don't have to be in darkness, to step back into the light, to be a guide to others with your light. I love that. To give yourself permission to invest more time in your business and to be more proactive with it. Woohoo, that's awesome. And you need to trust yourself more. Cool, I'm loving that. So again, we've declared what it is that you really want within your business, and there's kind of themes. And what do you believe that you need to have in order to do what you really want? So again, like Lizzie, for you, I'm just going to use your one as an example, to trust yourself. How can you learn to trust yourself? If you were to look at that from an energetic perspective, no, I'm going to rewind that. If you were to look at trusting yourself, trust then also links to fear. So what are you afraid of? What aren't you not trusting? Knowing that you can already do this is already within you, that you've got the codings, you can do this. This is already part of you. You are your first student that you've walked through. You are now in a place of being a teacher to share this with other people. What's stopping you from stepping into the unknown? This also kind of links into confidence as well. Having confidence to be able to share and hold the space, so intentionally doing such deep sacred work as well. But you're never going to become confident unless you actually do it. And then you learn from that, you reflect it. You have to take radical responsibility and stepping into that unfamiliar territory in order to truly become confident, become a master in the work that you're doing. But that doesn't mean that it's diluted in any way the first time you do that, because you are trusted, you are guided, you are supported within that. So within that, the first step is literally looking at removing what any of the obstacles are. And you may feel like within creating this awareness that there might be more than one thing that you're wanting to work on. So I would start with one and not try and do all things at once, because then you're not really going to look at working towards something with such divine intention and really go as deep as what you need to let it go out of your energetic field. To understand the triggers of when this comes up. So each time you go deeper into your soul's work, you know that when this is presented to you, as opposed to it taking over you for you not to go where you're being led. So with this, the first illusion that we're going to have a look at breaking down is the illusion around success demands suffering, or success equals suffering. So an example of how I stepped into my soul's work is what was through divine synchronicity of the universe really aligning and revealing to me this opportunity of stepping into, I guess, what I do now, but it didn't quite look like that in the beginning. But how that looked like for me is my world literally crumbled around me, in the sense of I got like a really narcissist boss, and it didn't matter what I did. Nothing was ever good enough. I was at the top of the food chain. I was the force to reckon with that everybody was trying to compete with, in a financial industry where it was backed at that point in time by sales. And she just wanted to like cut me off my pedestal. I don't know what it was, but she just had it in for me big time. And what that meant for me is actually I got demoted from almost being top of the food chain. And the top would have been literally her job, which I didn't have. And she literally, I don't know how she did it because it wasn't done ethically, but she called me into her office every day to like interrogate me, and with like stuff that just made absolute no sense. Like it was just literally like nonsense that was coming out of her mouth. But it got to a point that this was happening every day, that it was affecting how I was able to maintain the workload at work. And then I had less time to deliver on certain standards, and that just wasn't working. But I got to a point that she said, you're either not going to have a job, which is not an offer that they could do, or you're going to have a demotion. And I was just like, this is not okay. Like, I don't like this. I don't like being bullied. I'm worth more than this. I could fight it, but I knew if I fought her on this decision, it would have just continued to look like a path that would have, again, continued to lead to me bowing down to her, or her doing whatever she could to make me not have a job. So as much and as reluctant as I was, I submitted and I said, yeah, I'll take the demotion. And as soon as I did that, literally within a month's time, she came back to me and she's like, oh, why are you even doing this job? I was like, she's like, oh, you're so much better than this. Like, this is really undervaluing your skill sets. You're bored. You can spend half the day twiddling your thumbs. And I'm like, you made this happen. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is the biggest slap in the face. But within that, also at the same time as whilst I was being pressured to either not have a job or be demoted, I also found out that I was pregnant with my third child, which was also unplanned. Divinely intertwine and intervene into my world. But after my son, whom was born with a disability, we kind of thought that our family was complete, that we could spend as much time and energy on him, knowing that his journey, he's going to have like multiple surgeries and rehabilitation to correct his feet. It's all correctable. It's not life or death. All those surgeries obviously have their element of risk within them, but it's something that has put him in a position to actually be able to walk. And so with all of this happening and me literally having to wait, I don't know, halfway through the pregnancy before I came to terms with actually being pregnant, plus other various things happening within like family, within friends, it was literally like every area of my life, whether it be health and wellness, whether it would be around like love and relationships, my career and my purpose, what and how I identified myself literally just shifted, because when I got demoted, I was like, I don't really like doing this. But that also then created and solidified my faith in the unknown, knowing that, yes, this is really fucking shit, more the career side, and the surprise of having a baby wasn't shit. It was just a surprise. I was coming to terms with it. And then again, like the abundance factor as well, like of course being demoted meant that I got a demotion in how much I was receiving financially. So that led me into a journey of being like, right, why is this happening? going through what is happening in my internal world for me to have this reflected in my external reality. So I then went and sat with my 5 main areas of my life that have just gone over: health and well-being, self-love and relationships, your purpose, your connection to something greater in abundance, and sat and worked through each and every one of them. And then that there within the suffering, which to me, upon reflection, was a big catalyst to step into alignment, was how I stepped into my soul work. This is when I was pregnant. I had a year off work, which then meant that I was able to go back to university to work towards completing my degree, which was a double major in health and science and rehabilitation and mental health with a minor in psychology. I then was like, oh, this is, I've got this passion, this burning fire. I started doing all these intuitive courses and psychic development. I started going to in-person groups. And then I also birthed my business into existence. And had I not have had that kind of perceived setback, this would have not aligned me into viewing now this as my greatest opportunity of stepping into alignment, to really have gone into the depths. And at the same time, I was also going through my Saturn return, my dark night of the soul. So like adult tantrums every day, a deep immersion of like deep state of depression, like literally my world was crumbling around me. But that also, again, in saying that, created the opportunity for me to rebuild it based on my own foundations, based on my own alignments, based on my own values, my own intentions. But within this, in saying that, that was a big catalyst. The suffering was a big catalyst to transform my life. It doesn't mean that you have to suffer to go through these experiences to have success in your life. Yes, experiences like this can be massive catalysts for you to shift you, because you're not listening to those subtle nudges of the universe prior to this big catastrophe happening, and which I wasn't. I would have these intuitive downloads and hits and information, guidance and wisdom, get all these readings from all these incredible clairvoyants, and I wouldn't listen to anything. I would just be like, life will be fine. And I'm not so naive now. So how this resonates with saying struggle means, what you might be familiar with is the expression struggling means that you're getting somewhere. Who resonates with that, or who doesn't resonate with that? For me, what I've found, depending on if I put it in the context of this, to me, what I've found is struggling means that you're being directed somewhere else. Okay. So yes, my surrounding environment in that context, I got a demotion. I became pregnant with my 3rd child, which created all this like time on my hands. Well, a bit of time. I had a young baby, but it spiked this fire, this ignition within me to then go and pursue other things that I wouldn't have done because I would have not had the time and energy in the job and the role that I was doing beforehand. So it was a direction to go somewhere else. And within this, obstacles have the power to stop you or enable you to turn back to where you're really anchored in your purpose. And then when you're anchored in your purpose, this is where challenges cease. They start diminishing. Not saying that you don't have challenges within growing on a soulful level, because yes, you do. But they're not the ones that are literally crumbling away, that are so drastic that you can't overcome. They're more like initiations into your rising, as opposed to, I guess it's like the end of the world type of scenario feeling emotionally. And what happens is that you will stop viewing these challenges to be obstacles and look at them as, okay, is this really in alignment? Am I really enjoying what it is that I'm doing? Or is there something more that I have to offer? And this is something that I bring in with each and every one of my services. Sometimes I'll birth a service into existence, and then I'll sit and I'll play with it. And then for some reason, the energy it won't be there. That passion, that alignment won't be there anymore. And then there might be an obstacle that presents itself to either help me see, okay, is this going to be fuel for me to be able to overcome it, to initiate it, to be of service in a deeper kind of way? Or is this giving me the clarity that, hey, look, this isn't an alignment for me anymore. I'm going to put a pause on it, maybe go back to it in the future, not offer it at the moment, but there's something that's actually missing energetically here. So in saying this, with success demands suffering, you don't have to do it all alone. So when which was a great lesson in the beginning with framing my business and all the different intricacies of how a business is run, you have your face, then you generally have ways that you promote your business, like social media. You have like your administration side. So you have kind of your bookings, your scheduling tools, you have like all your payment links, then you have like your marketing, your advertisement side, then you have your accounting side. So you play many diverse roles in your business, but you don't have to do it all alone. And whilst in the beginning, you may not be in a position for other people to help you, but that does not mean that there are other people out there in your network that can support you, that can show you how you can thrive in each one of these different areas. And not only that, your higher self is here to guide and support you, and so is the universe. So literally call in what it is that you're finding frustrating. Like, I literally created my website from scratch myself. Technology is not my area. It's not my skill set. I'm not a guru. I actually freaking hate it. More often than not, I find that it doesn't work. But again, like, that's that internal belief. I'm working on that to make sure and manifest, like, the Wi-Fi connection is strong, like all the things. But what I have found is that when I've grown into a position to be able to call and support, that I've been able to either like pay for or do energy exchanges for, because that's their area that they thrive within, then it's bringing upon a team to support you to actually show up, to be of service in your soul's work, to let go and surrender and trust, because that's a big thing as well. Trusting that and surrendering that you have created clear intentions and communicated this, but letting it go that it's obviously going to be done based on your intentions, but a slightly different way. You can't control everything. Control is the big word that I was looking for there. But you don't have to do it alone. There's so many people out there that can support you, that have done these things, that are their preferred areas to look after within business, and vice versa. I'm sure that you'd have something to offer somebody else as well. But within this, when you're looking at creating success, taking it back a notch, what you need to do is really, really simple, but do it so super intentionally. Some people get, and again, like, I'm guilty of this myself, getting caught up in the excitement of like offering and showing up and just being, but not really getting clear on my vision, getting clear on my intentions, getting clear on my desires within my success, within my transformation, within the soul, the energy of the offering that it is that I'm putting out there in this world. So if you're wanting to attract the right people to work with, your soulmate clients, you have to do that through divine intention. And you have to get really, really clear on understanding who your soulmate client is. This is something that I have learned and perfected the art of over the years, finding those soulmate clients that for me, it's kind of like very, very similar to adopting the way I do my soul work as well, because we have similar intentions, we have similar values, we have similar but different personalities. Sometimes I find a lot of people that I attract have different, like similar star sign, like similar energy. What I mean by that is, are you wanting to work with a soul client that's going to just come in and have the experience and then kind of leave? Like, you're wanting to call in those soul clients that are going to go to a workshop, have like a one-on-one with you, invest in a coaching, and walk away from that particular experience with being like, holy fuck, like that was life-changing for me. Like, they just unlocked something within me, this innate potential within me that, like, I want to pay them more money, because like what they charge was just like, it's so hard to put a value on it, because Like, it was life-changing. How do you put a value on a life-changing experience? These are the people that you want to walk away, that literally through word of mouth are gonna like share with their friends and their family, like, you have to go and see this person, you have to go and have, you know, this was my experience with them. And although each experience is going to be unique, again, it's going back to the intentions that you set with all the work that you do, whatever that looks like through the different channels and the different services or the different creations that you offer. Each has its own unique soul and own energy and own intentions for the desired transformation within it. So these are the soulmate clients that you're looking at calling in to your world, to your energetic field, and these are the ones that you want to work with. And through, I guess, reflection, you will find the difference in the vibration within the people. And I've become really good at doing this now, that saying, depending on what it is that they're investing in, but I would like to say generally all of my services that I offer is that, like, you're not the right fit. Like, I'd rather you not invest in this and just keep your money, because you're not dedicated, you're not committed to the intentions, the transformations that I'm setting within the coding of this particular service, that it's like, it's a waste of your money. Like, you know, it's almost like they're getting caught up in all things shiny. Like, this is cool, I'm going to go do this and this and that and this, but are they really integrating and downloading the information that's within them? And then not only that, but are they actually applying that to get the results? Because if they're not going to integrate and apply it to get the results, well, then they're not going to get the correct transformation that you're intentionally setting within doing that particular work. So this is why you want to get really specific on the people that you want to work with. Like, you want to have fun with them. You want to be in that state of flow. Like, you want them to almost be like your BFFs. Like, I become really good friends with the people that I work with. I get to know them really well. I'm really vulnerable with the information that I share, because I feel comfortable that I can be seen and heard. And they know. Like, it was just, I think it was 2 weeks ago now, that because of the work that I do and being a channel, and depending on, I guess if it's like channeling work, like doing a reading or something like that, not in the respect of being flaky, but when people actually understand that you have to work and go through and be in the right energetic state, and do your own self work to be able to be of service to others. And if you're not feeling that way, I'm honest and open about it and say, hey, look, we can do this today, but this is how I'm feeling. Generally, I'm having my own initiation, growing, evolving. Something's come into my energetic field that I need to work through, whether it's limiting beliefs, whatever it is, I need to release that. And then I will be in the space to be able to truly be of service, to offer that intention and transformation that I'm intending, that I'm putting out there. I would rather do that. And I would say 9 times out of 10, people get that. This is the work that they're investing in, like the experience. I want to give them the whole experience, not half of the experience. But again, always making sure that, okay, am I doing this from a place of, is something actually going on, or capturing, is this fear that's popping in that's actually stopping me from showing up? Because that's another thing that you can look like that's manifesting into something. But actually it's fear is the underlying root cause of what it is that you're not showing up for. And sometimes this could be when you're doing something new for the first time, or even maybe it's not the first time, it's maybe your second, third, or fourth time, and for some reason you've been shaken in your grounding and the energy of this particular offering. So just making sure that you're really clear and you're really specific about the people that you're wanting to work with. And you'll know, and the more that you work with your intuition, you're bringing your intuition in your business, again, you're literally going to attract, you're going to magnetize those people into your energetic field to work with. They're the ones that are going to be your raving testimonial soul-based clients. They're the ones that are going to bring more people into your world, because they're like, you just need to work with this person. And you really just, all you did was got clear of your vision, your intentions, and that was it, your desire, your feeling, and being in flow and present with that. So this is literally by aligning fully with your intentions, your goals. This is how you create success. So it's so simple, but actually is so overlooked in the sacred work that people do. And if that was like the one thing other than knowing the framework of what you're going to go over, that you're going to do out of, I guess, like marketing, sharing, is going in with your intentions of what the expectation is of them being in your energy field through this co-creation. Wow, the time is, I talk a lot. I've got so much content here. I didn't realize the time. This is amazing. So then we've got the next illusion that we're going to debunk. So actually, before I go there, no, I just need to finish off something here before I move on to the next illusion. So again, you can succeed without suffering. Yeah. Okay, this is going to partner up and kind of bridge into the answers that you seek are external to you. So this for me was something that I thought was true. But again, throughout really going in and doing my deep soul work, I then soon quickly realized, and everybody says, everything you need lies within you, right? But I quickly myself got caught up in all the things shiny. Oh my gosh, you look like you've had a major breakthrough. Sorry, I didn't mean to like focus it on you, but yes, got it. So what I found is that I did very much in the beginning of my journey think that I needed to go and like externally get the validation, get the credentials, get the paperwork, the certifications, try and do all the things to validate my worth, to make people see that I was actually worthy, to kind of highlight my purpose in a way that wasn't coming from within, that was coming from external to me. Although in saying that, I do believe there comes like a place with having like certifications and validations. I'm not saying don't go out and go and get them, but being mindful that you're not getting caught up in thinking that you have to get all of the things, all of the credentials, and then actually not doing anything, not showing up and being your purpose, sharing what you already have within you. Remember, everybody starts from somewhere. And what I have found is that I had to go, although I didn't have to, I felt guided to go and become a health and life coach, because that also gave me a really solid foundation of coaching and how to hold space with people. However, what I found is that spirit just came through and channeled information, and the structure and framework that you get taught in traditional westernized coaching, that just got thrown out the window. So that was like a $6,000 investment within that. Yes, I am internationally certified, and it was great information, but it's not even a structure that I follow now to this day. So it was a great lesson learned to really trust and believe in myself, to know that I was worthy to hold the space. Oh, Lizzie, that's okay. Sorry, you have to leave. You've got to go to the hospital to meet my mum. Will this be in the group? No, this what will happen is it'll be recorded and sent through to you via email. Millie, literally 3 seconds before you mentioned your website, I wrote down make my own website to replace your ecstasy sock. Woohoo! So I really want to speak into that as well, Millie, because actually going through the exercise of creating my own website really highlighted. It was a great exercise, because now I know how to do and maintain things on my website that I have now, which is actually being beautifully created by my virtual assistant that helps me with all my techie stuff, because as I said, it's not my area of expertise. And what I found is that I would spend so much time and energy creating that I wouldn't have any time and energy to actually show up in the doing and the being of what I was actually wanting to do in the first place. But again, with me having a basic understanding of all the various roles that you play within having your own business, this now means that if like Amanda can't help me and I really need something, or there's like a mistake on my website, which quite often gets highlighted, and I'm like, oh shit, this link doesn't work, I can go in and I can fix it up. I'm not like totally like unsupported within myself. But it was a great learning experience. This is what I mean, like creating that great solid foundation of understanding all the intricacies of what areas you thrive in and what areas you don't thrive in. And when you're in a position to be able to call in support or do energy exchanges, then you can play on your strengths rather than again, like focusing too much time on your weaknesses. Jan, you have no credentials and have lived a life. So there we have like a beautiful divine, like this is, you live and breathe the opposite of what I did. Like I had to go and get all the certifications and probably could have banked that money, but in saying that, I learned very valuable lessons to not always go for all things shiny, to validate my self-worth. Your self-worth isn't going to come by those validations of those certificates. That 15-hour course that you went on is just 15 hours. When you incorporate the trainings, the understandings into your life and create daily practices around it, this is your life that you've lived. You are worthy within that. That is your credential. And then again, it's going to speak volumes in your experiences that you have with your soulmate clients. So in saying everything that you need lies within you, again, this is quite fluffy within itself and quite generic, but what I mean by this at its simplest level is learning to understand, to work with your intuition and be led and be guided and supported through your intuition. The more that you can work with your intuition and understanding like timelines and like when you're downloading ideas and figuring out like when you should go and like present them, like you're the channel, you're the vessel for this information that you're sharing within you, which is an incorporation of like your higher self, knowledge from the quantum, from your life experiences. It's all mixed up together. But if you can work with your intuition to again go through like a sacred process of launching the content, timelines, the energy, your intentions, the ways that you're going to share this, you're going to be so much more supported within the energetics of that when you're putting it out there, it's already energetically sewn up in the quantum of the people that are actually wanting to work with you before you even go and truly declare it out there. So to manage your business and your life, and again, we just kind of spoke into this, like you must consult experts. So again, I truly believe that there is a time and place in working with people. I have, as I mentioned, I have a team, and what I refer to as my team is my coaches, my mentors, like Reiki master teachers, shamans, depending on whatever type of work that I'm looking at, everybody that I go to receive healing, everybody that I go to receive healing. I go back, I'm very specific with the people that I choose to work with the medicine that they have to offer. And I'll go back to them again and again and generally build up the types of various ways that they offer and go deeper into their medicine. But this is all part of your team. This is what I refer to as my experts. But now I don't do it as like, oh, well, I should have an expert or a coach to work with. When I'm divinely guided to work in a co-creation with someone, I will. But it depends on what it is that within my soul and within my business, that an area that I'm identifying as a growth opportunity. This is when I will go and call in and be intuitively guided to whom it is that can best support me to execute, to rise up into this next level of embodiment that I'm calling in. I'm just going to look at your messages. Azalea said, yes, she is amazing. So again, call in the experts, because yes, they're experts for a reason, but don't do it because you're meant to do it. Do it because you are looking to learn from them, but also use your inner guide to help you apply what it is that you have learned in a very unique way to yourself. I recently went to not recently, going back quite a couple of years. I don't know, it might have been about 5 years now, but what is time anyway? When I was going in to like psychic development groups in this particular area, and like learning and activating and downloading, which kind of led me on tangents of like diving into more information, whether it's books, YouTube clips, courses, whatever it was. And then recently, I actually went to an energy healing course run by one of the spiritual psychic leaders, guides, can't remember the name, however you want to frame them up, coach, trainer, the person that held the space of the circle. And throughout the energy healing certification course, they were like, you know, you have quite an interesting methodology of approaching things, because what you do is you go and learn all these different things, and then you apply your unique, like, you know that they're important and they're of great things to understand, like who you are, and understanding like the framework of spirituality and becoming like a master of your own energy, learning how to work with your intuition, which is one of the things that I love and teach people to do. But they said you apply your very unique way of being able to channel that information. Yes, like there are general themes there, because there are with like, this is, oh, waiting room, Lizzie, just bringing you back in. Sorry, Lizzie, I just brought you. I don't know how long you've been there for, but sorry. Yeah, but what they were saying is like you apply what you've learned, but you create your own unique blueprint to this, and this is how you channel and you deliver the information to share with other people, because obviously it's worthy of sharing. So this is the same thing with experts. It's not duplicating the information, but obviously there are main pivotal points that, again, are catalysts for changing your life, for helping you to up level into this next level of embodiment. And yes, what you're learning is sometimes a reflection of what it is that you're teaching, you're applying to other people, but you're also channeling and putting your own unique flair and flavor on that as well. So it's not just a complete replication. And they're helping you based on their experience, but also in saying that their experience is like, you really do need to go in with discernment, because what worked for them may not actually work for you and your growth of your business. So again, like the fundamentals of it, like that's probably really cool, but then what does that uniquely look like? So yeah, that's what I was trying to say. The universe is always guiding you. So this is nothing new, but allowing your inner guide to support you and to really receiving what you need to look and watch for the signs. So again, this is something that's internal, but obviously we have this divine universe that we're working in that are presenting us with signs if we're not picking up the cues within our own bodily consciousness, within our channel. And also the universal signs are another external way when you're working on building up trust and trusting your own intuition, having these divine synchronicities. And as I said, if you believe that, like, you're putting the intention out there for the universe to provide you with signs, and you feel like you're not actually receiving the guidance that's going to support you, it's because you're not actually being present to actually view the signs and the synchronicities around you. The universe is always guiding you. So if you're not receiving the guidance, it's because you've checked out. So you need to come back in, bring in your sacred practices of being able to, I guess, be open to the universal divine synchronicities around you. Your internal guidance, again, this is probably nothing new to all of you, but I'm just going to repeat it and speak into it all the same. But obviously it's coming from inklings, subtle nudges, knowings, those divine downloads that you have out of the blue, which then create and lead us into inspired action. So if you're wanting an exercise to connect with your higher self, there are so many practices out there, but one that I've actually just shared in my Spirit Circle Psychic Development group is around channeling, one form of channeling, which is around automatic handwriting. So what's happening when you're automatic handwriting, it's almost like you're getting into this trance-like state, this somewhat like altered state of consciousness where you're just truly surrendering to being in the present moment. And what you're doing is you're writing a question. So again, being really specific in your question, and then you are just waiting for your higher self, your spirit guides, galactic beings, whatever it is that you're tuning or asking to receive information from, and letting your higher self support you in channeling the guidance and answering that question. So within this also, we can receive verbal signs. So sometimes people show up in our lives, and they just say the right things at the right time. Like I remember that I think it was after Taylor was born, and I was going through a really stressful time, and this like divine guardian angel just presented itself to me. I had like a lot of issues in my physical body, and I had a lot of inner work to work on. And this is where I really understood how your physical body is the last representation of your mind, your soul, and your body, really bringing and alluding to you through aches and pains in your body where you need to work, what areas within your body you have stagnant energy, what the representations or the metaphysical reasons are of the aches and pains in your body, how that connects into your energy centers, and then again, like what emotions are they linked to? Not only what are the emotions are present in this moment, but also the emotions that when you first experience this feeling, this embodiment of this emotion, and linking this back into like childhood healing. So this divine guardian angel showed up, and she literally like saw me like crunched over in pain. It was at the doctor's. It was, no, I think I was actually at the hospital, and my daughter had been in hospital for 10 days. She nearly died. And I was just broken. And yeah, she was just like, would you like me to give you a massage? She was like, and she was 65 years old. I was like, I can't sit here and receive like a massage from you. Like, obviously she was elder, I respected her. I felt like, again, this is going back to my lack of ability of being able to receive and my mentality in that moment. I felt like I should have been offering her a massage. Like, you know, like it goes back to those programmings. Not that I was disrespecting her, but this guardian angel just kind of came out of nowhere, and she just worked her magic. And like I felt magnificent from being broken, and like just storing all this energy in my body. So people come into your life with such divine synchronicity and timing to activate, to remind you about your truth, who you truly are, to bring you back to, I guess, in a sense, like alignment. So every person encounter and experience that comes to you is literally by an intelligent plan, related to your spiritual growth, your well-being, or whether it is like your soulful business, like your professional advancement. And to lead a soulful business in this new paradigm, this new way of being, co-creating this new earth, is that you need to learn to recognize, to be able to read the energy, to be able to read and understand and perceive the subtle cues that are less obvious, to understand that your time and energy is literally best spent working with these particular people who share your values, who share your intentions, who share your goals, that are here to rise with you, not hinder you in your rising. Because you will find, like I found many people, as I continue to apply, to adapt, to dedicate, to consistently show up, people that were like, oh, this is a side gig, you know, like this is your hustle. I'm like, they at the beginning were like, oh, this is kind of cool, and yeah, we'll support you. But as I continue to rise, as I continue to celebrate my accomplishments, my milestones, intentionally, humbly, but again, also sharing, like this is my life's work. This is what I'm dedicating and surrendering my life to. This is how I envision like my big vision in life. Like I have big ambitions and goals, and I'm just working upon building those solid foundations to get there, to be in a position to be of service and these larger capacities. But as I found that, what happened is that some of the people in my environment weren't supporting my rising. So they just took a step back. And in the moment, what can happen is, yeah, on an emotional level, that can really hurt. But on an energetic level, that then created space for the people that were literally going to support me, that were going to walk with me, that we're going to co-create together, that we're going to help rise together. It created room for them to actually manifest into my existence, to be able to work and create together. So really, understanding that through these subtle cues and the guidance that we're receiving, that there is such divine intention with them, and the universe, if you're not listening, can sometimes start creating dramatic ways of getting and bringing these into your attention, these people that are not of service to you, that are really not here yet to be a part of your rising, and such events, not events. Oh, Millie, you said your headphones are about to run out of battery. You'll be back soon. If I'm too late, I'll catch the rest on replay. Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for being here, Millie. What was I saying? Yeah, so these setbacks, these dramatic experiences that are kind of highlighted to get your attention, can sometimes look like accidents. They can look like health issues. They can look like business setbacks, or again, like ending of relationships. But every event, every intention is literally an existing of the intention of your divine awakening, of the unraveling, of you really breaking back the layers and truly understanding who you are and sharing that true expression of yourself. Like recently, LePay and Azalea, you will know that I had a really interesting experience with my PayPal account, which majority of my business is run through PayPal, through my website. My whole PayPal account froze. I couldn't access the money in there. I couldn't pay people money. I couldn't receive people money. It was the biggest clusterfuck that I've ever experienced. And it was really, really stressful. But what happened, and this went over a good couple of months, and what happened with this is that this literally created the opportunity for me to revisit like my money intentions. Is this something me that I'm blocking? Is it like belief of expansion? And it was actually quite funny that my coach had gone through a similar experience with PayPal, with like identifying who you are. And I don't know, their rules and regulations are really quite interesting. It was a very interesting, very highly stressful scenario, but all of these setbacks come with the divine intention of your awakening, your embodiment of sharing, of being service at a larger scale, and of allowing yourself to be of service as well, the worthiness. So within that, although this is a very like on a human level, looking at it from a third dimensional perspective, this is a very like emotive, stressful thing. We're talking about money. We're talking about paying bills, paying people for services, receiving money. This may be perceived as like a bad event, but there's no such thing as a good or bad event. It is literally just an experience. It is a perspective. But what it is doing, whether it be good or bad, is that it's bringing us closer to our truth, to our fullest expression of ourselves, whatever the scenario is, especially if it's an ending of a relationship. And I feel like there's quite a lot of that happening at the moment. I've seen quite a few of my friends like sharing this, and I'm like, whoa, what's like in the air? It's literally like tapping into the new energy. I'm stepping out of like the Aries season. It's just been like my month of my birthday, but actually I believe it's like the new, like we're actually starting the new year and the new like Aquarius like cycle, like the Aquarian energy. So again, like part of that is letting go, creating space for having like this, stepping into this newest, freshest timeline. But overall, what I'm trying to get at with this is to learn to trust your gut, but also in a sense of applying. Yes, we are in a third dimensional realm. We work with third dimensional universal laws. So let's actually do apply our human logic to this. If your gut instinct is saying something, not defying your gut instinct, but evaluating it in a like human logical way. Like, does this make sense for me to do it now, or do I need to sit and get deeper clarity on when I'm meant to share or offer this particular service? Like making sure that you really go deep with your intentions, your intuition. And it's same for if I bring it into the context of working and hiring a team member. So how I actually came to have a virtual assistant that helps me with all my technology stuff now is I hired Amanda to create my website. And we've now been working together for 2 years. So she literally created my website, and it was done over like a 4-month container, which then led into like a monthly contract of all the new things and the bits and pieces, because like, I still don't really want to take the wheel on this isn't for me, which then led her to supporting me in other areas behind the scenes as well. So applying human logic, yes, you might have a good feeling about bringing someone onto your team, just kind of giving you an example with this, and you might, it sounds like, it feels like it aligns, but take them for a test drive first. Like in my context, not that that was my intention. I didn't know that I was going to evolve in this particular relationship like this with Amanda. But again, like, take them for a test drive. Make sure that they do really align and support and understand the sacredness of the work that you're doing. And if they don't, well, at least within the test drive, that would have then been highlighted for you. Yes, initially you had this gut instinct, this pull. There's a reason why, but also you learned a valuable lesson in this experience as well. So apply that to the next person. Yeah, so in the context also with your business and personal growth, even if like a business relationship doesn't work out, and I've like co-created with a few people locally here in Manawatu, having similar visions of trying to create things. But again, the intentions and the different spaces that we're at energetically and the different spaces within our business, it just didn't quite work out. But lo and behold, there's other things that came from that, other creations, other space that it created for me to be able to do similar things with other people, which is even better. And going again, still align with the intentions and the purpose of what other things were created for. So if things don't work out, it's important to understand like the lesson and the reason within the experience, and use this approach to apply it to relationships in the future. And I'm going to finish that off there. Okay, I'm going to go into 2 more illusions, and then I'm going to wrap this up, because I didn't quite expect this would be this long, but I know that I can talk. And I'm just conscious of all your time as well. So your success depends on external solutions. This is a big thing. And again, if we look in the context of COVID at the moment, this was a big a big mind fuck for me getting around this one, and your success depending on external solutions. So if I just give you an example first of, as I mentioned earlier, running like a psychic development and personal circle once a month kind of group, just before COVID started, I had this inkling, like, you've got to bring this online, it's got to go online. And I'm like, but how do you do all the in-person activities? Although again, there's no such thing as space and time when you look at it. But again, like, I really love that in-person, like, intimate contact, to be able to cuddle, hand people tissues, like there is something so special about that. So I had this resistance of actually transitioning it online. I was like, how's this even going to work? Like, oh, I don't really want to do this. I love it as it is. But turns out that I didn't listen to my own intuitive guidance in that moment, but I parked it. And then I got the external validation of, hey, look, we actually can't run in-person circles now because the whole world shut down as such. So what I did is I started preparing for myself to transition this particular event online. And again, like, I had it all set in my mind, like, it's got to be in person, it's got to be run this way because of X, Y, and Z. To let go and actually surrender to my own guidance that I was given, to seeing that this was actually going to work out far greater for me than how I had originally structured and had it set up. Yes, there were different elements to it, like there is with everything. There were pros and cons, but actually what it made me be able to do is, one, paid a significant amount in hiring the venue that I was in. So depending on how many people would come through the door on that particular event, and obviously it's at random, it wasn't ticketed, it then meant that there was no level of consistency. So depending on if it was a colder night or it just started raining, everybody that had divine intention of coming didn't necessarily come, because I know as me, like, I don't want to go out when it's raining. Like, I'm still working of creating that bond and relationship with that particular element. Like, I just really don't like rain, don't like getting wet and cold and smelling like a wet dog. So I then saw that, well, actually, if I make this into a subscription with the people that are dedicated to, that would show up consistently anyway, but in form of a membership online, not only do I have that interaction with them on the monthly basis, but I also can create a community around that so they can share, because I always ran out of time. There was never enough time for people to share what's going on, the differences and the different skill sets that they were applying in their daily lives, and all the incredible like activations, downloads and transformations that they would have from that. But now the community that I've created within this group, with transitioning this, not only do I not have to pay a significant hireage fee for it, but two, I've got a community where they can digitally journal what their transformations are. They can share their light bulb moments, and other people can also learn from me, from them, not just from me, which is beautiful, because then they also become the teacher and teaching other people. And this is how you really create the community, and people get to build trust and confidence rather than the little kind of exercise that they got on the particular night. So it was a really beautiful transformation that did happen so fluidly once I gave into the resistance. And then as a byproduct of that, I actually can show up more often to connect with them, to answer their messages, their questions, because it's not in person and they don't have to wait. And then there's not enough time to do it because you're hiring and you're on a timeline and you're trying to abide by somebody else's rules. And so again, your success doesn't depend on your external environments and external solutions. So how to resonate with this is that your external conditions may change. Life, everything's evolving, everything's changing, nothing's consistent. But before you can be happy and successful, you also need to understand that your happiness and success depends on your thoughts within themselves. So you need to learn to thrive no matter what is going on around you, because as energetic beings, everything that you attract in your movie, your existence, and I use this analogy quite a lot, that you're the actor, you're the producer, you're the videographer, you're the I'm not even saying it as good as I normally would now. But you're the creator of your own destiny. You're the movie star. And literally what you have going on within is going to be what you attract in your external reality. This is literally based on your frequency that you emit. So if you're emitting out there that you never have enough, that, I saw something, I'm really into cosmic consciousness and all things like extraterrestrial, and there was a comment on Steve, yeah, like, you get it, that's why we're here, like, we're in each other's orbits, because this is what we love. But I was watching a comment on Stephen Greer's, it was like the CE5, like cosmic contact, how you can, like channel and connect. And this particular experience was going on a retreat with him. And the retreat, it was like maybe 5 to 7 day of the retreat. And it was like $6,000 investment. He also has this information on how you can make cosmic contact for free in a social media platforms. You can download like PDFs, which are like books. Like, there's so much information, but the experience itself and going there, which is obviously he's calling in a select number of people to do this work intentionally, that are a vibrational match for that, for doing the sacred work, for having this experiences, for being in his energetic presence. And yeah, as a result of that, he can only have a certain number of people. So, of course, the value of it is going to be a significant investment in yourself, because you're actually paying for the experience not only of yourself, the experience of being in his like energetic presence, and the experience of what everybody else that has the call, that has the nudge to invest in themselves to go there, that's also going to equally contribute in this co-creation. And what I found was that a lot of people were commenting on his posts like, oh my gosh, like I can't afford that. Like I can never go. Why do you charge so much for these particular excursions? And da la la la. And I was just like, wow, like just the money consciousness, the belief system it's really quite interesting to really see like they literally were like hating on him, like, why can't you make this cheaper, and because of this now I can't go. But what I'm trying to get at is, when you truly value something, you value the experience, you value the transformation, you can actually call and manifest that money in if you are meant to be there. And I know you're nodding your head, Jan, because I know that you've shared an experience of how you've manifested an experience like that super abundantly. Whether you didn't have the money or not, I don't know, but you just manifested an incredible experience in there that like would have really cost a lot of money, and it's like very much an integral part of the work that you do now. I, for one, going back 2 years ago, manifested. I was a part of a gifted expert certification course. This is me going for all things shiny to try and validate how psychic I was, which again, it was a great framework of understanding, compartmentalizing certain ways that you can work with your intuition. It was a great guide. And it was, again, for me, one of the biggest catalysts of breaking through my fear and my resistance of connecting with different energies, to now understanding that I'm actually empowered, I'm actually in control. And going back to everything that I'm speaking into, is that your energy, your frequency that you attract is literally what's playing a role in your external manifestation. Really embodying this work is just quite interesting, with playing with all your triggers that come up. But in the sense of what happened in the gifted expert retreat, I can't, what was I going to say? I didn't at that point in time have the money to go. Also, I didn't believe that I had the time. This is a thing that you brought up as well, Millie, that I didn't believe that I was worthy enough to go away. I can't remember. It was somewhere between 7 to 14 days, maybe 10 actually. Being a mother, tapping into the societal perceptions of being a nurturer, being this, the one that does everything in the house. You play a very multifaceted role to your children, and that to give myself permission without experiencing the guilt to actually go, allow myself to have the time to go on this transformational retreat, was one hurdle that I had to overcome. The worthiness, that I was worthy, that this was beneficial, what I was going to get from this was going to be life-changing. And I shit you not, it was life-changing. This is literally my introduction of me doing and sharing, like teaching people how to become accredited like Reiki masters. But the next hurdle within that also was me not like, how am I going to pay for this trip? How am I going to go to Bali just for this 10 days and have this experience? Well, I manifested it, the whole lot, even more, like down to the point of having spending money. It just sporadically came out of nowhere. I came into having this channel download idea of doing a co-creation with another soul sister here in Manawatu, and we ran a course. It was my first in-person workshop that I'd ever done. I was shitting myself, and this was with someone. So it was pretty big. It was working with plant-based medicines, essential oils, and using the oils to help you activate and work with your 4 main ways of accessing your intuition through your clear. And you got to do a make and take and make an intuitive clear fragrance, and there was a guided meditation where we worked on bringing through your intuition. It was a really beautiful event. So I had this download, I spoke it into existence, I acted on my manifestation of calling in this money, and we had an amazing turnout of people. And I made a lot of money from it. I made a good couple of $100 from that particular event, and also got some amazing clients that wanted to continue working with the plant-based medicines. From that also, I randomly finally saw the flights, and my flights were $888. And I was like, okay, if that's not a sign, I don't know what is. For me, the number 8 and seeing it sequentially in a row is the number of abundance. So I was like, that's my sign. I'm going to go and make it. I love sequential numbers. Cool. So I literally just put that money on my credit card going like, holy fuck, like, please just go through, please just go through, please just go through. And it did. And then all of a sudden, it must have been, I can't remember like the exact timeline, but in a couple of days, I literally received my first ever tax refund of just over that particular amount of money. Normally I have to pay money back. Like, I don't even know how that even happens, but it just happened. I got a tax refund for more than the amount of my flights. And I was just like, holy moly. And everything just started to fall into place because I knew without a doubt that I had to go on to that trip. Didn't know how it was going to work, but I knew that I was so divinely supported with making it happen that I just literally need to trust. And that's where I did take the leap of faith, and I didn't apply so much human logic because it was so strong. Like, you have to go, you have to go, you have to go. And I was just surrendered in the process of being like, okay, if I'm meant to be there, you need to support me. And I got support. So it goes back to the perspective of tapping into your inner creatress or creator, being male, and really learning how to make up your own rules. And what I mean by that, be a rule breaker. Like, you don't have to look at this external environment and abide by the rules, that the framework that you're playing within. You get to create your own. Yes, you can't technically go and like hire out like where I was doing in a Manawatu Shed 23 because it's closed. So I'm not saying you be a rule breaker and like in that concept and like open up and get fines. I mean, you create your own rules and break them in a sense of like, don't be confined by what society is presenting you with. You are the creator of your own destiny, and you are the generator within that. That's me. That's my human design. I'm a generator, and these are how literally I have created, like I mentioned, my Spirit Circle Psychic Development Group is online. I don't have to pay for things that I once used to pay for, and the experience is totally different, and it gets captured in a different way. So getting past the resistance, when setting out on an important project, you may encounter, as I said, resistance, but every person and event that appears in your outer world is mirroring some form of dynamic that is occurring in your inner world. So this might take a lot when you look at it on like a global kind of level, depending on what your personal beliefs are. And I'm really not going to speak into that, but COVID is a beautiful example of what's going on, the deeper you go into it, okay? So when you look at what is going on in your outer world and you understand that as big or as small it is mirroring some dynamic that is occurring in your inner world, and if we look at it on a conscious level, and then you learn to become a master in mastering your inner world. You can't control what's going on in the outer world, but you can control it from a sense of going within. So to become a master, and how does this even apply to business? To become a master within your soulful business is to understand that you don't fall prey to circumstances and things that you encounter, which is disconnected to your own consciousness, but instead look at embracing them as representations of your own thoughts. So this is going back to your thoughts are what are literally the projection of your external reality. So how are you talking to yourself? How are you talking to your body? How are you talking to your business? I literally create experiences throughout the day to, depending on what it is that I'm looking at working on, what I'm looking on working on in my business and within myself, because my soul business is an extension of myself, my soul. And I will go and have, say, for example, it's money. I'll go and have a money date with myself. I will literally make that my focus until I can see that my frequency, my vibration is an energetic match of what it is that I'm working on. But I work on myself. to make that be and become an external representation. So again, I'm going to say that again. To become a master within soulful business is to understand that you don't fall prey to circumstances and things that you encounter is disconnected to your own consciousness. So instead, looking at it as embracing them as representation of your own thoughts, your own consciousness. We are all connected. We are all one. We all work together. And within this, if something you're trying to call in and it's not quite there yet in your physical reality, you're taking this leap of faith into the unknown. You're putting yourself out there, you're working on your intentions, you're working on the transformation, you're working on the soul energy, you're working on calling in the soul clients, and it's not happening. Why? So this is where you have the opportunity to look at what belief are you holding on to within this situation that is stopping this manifestation from playing out. And working through that limiting belief and the false nature of this, like a lot of you have mentioned around fear or worthiness. And I'm just trying to see what some others were. And maybe it's like credentials or giving yourself permission to invest more time. So again, like, where is your time and energy that you're putting it into now? Is it actually of value for it? So going deeper, what are you consciously like channeling your energy through? Are you getting sucked up into like the scroll hole on Facebook and social media? Is it that you're binge watching Netflix and not having well-balanced control? And I'm not saying don't do these things, but do these things with divine intention, setting parameters and boundaries around them, so then you can have well-balanced time to bring that time and energy into something else. Again, if it's fear, what are you truly fearful of? If you're putting yourself out there with being truly seen and heard, well, when you actually know and acknowledge that you are worthy, that your purpose is divine, that you are here to make a divine impact, and you're focusing on your transformation rather than the fear, nothing's stopping you, because your energy and focus is on something of positive rather than something of negative. And then you're not encapsulating that in your energetic field. The other thing that I really want to speak on with that is working with your limiting beliefs of what's holding you back and focusing on one and rewriting them. So what will happen is that you become so privy of being able to work and read what's coming into your energetic field that you'll see these limiting beliefs that are coming in, and you will be able to capture them before they actually get the chance of, I guess, wreaking havoc or actually taking control of you. You will be able to take control of these limiting beliefs. You'll be able to see, oh yeah, there's a little bit of fear and resistance that I feel that's stopping me from stepping into this. I'm going to take you and I'm going to nip you in the butt before actually you stop me from doing what it is that you know that you're being guided to step into. And within this, what you're doing is you're learning to discover the greater truth within that limiting belief and what is hiding behind it. So you may not even want to have a look at it as this is happening in the present moment, but where does that fear stem from? When was the first time you felt fearful of not being able to share, to be truly seen and heard and understood? And then that might guide you to doing some work in another area of your life. Again, generally for me, I always find that it stems from childhood. So, or it might be like an incredible, like life-changing experience that maybe like you've had, that you've spoken to Jan as well. Like it could be anything, but I'm just sharing from my perspective. Generally, it links me back to something in childhood that I need to work through. So when you look at releasing this, and you realize that others around you or these circumstances are what they're creating is a source of your disempowerment. And when you look at taking control back and empowering yourself and stop blaming people and other conditions and circumstances around you for your blocks, for truly shining your light as bright as you can, and the failures as well, bringing that into it, the more empowered you can empower them. No, hang on a second, I'm saying this wrong. Yeah, no, I was actually saying it right. So the more you empower these limiting beliefs or these circumstances or blame for other people, the more you're actually disempowering yourself within the moment, because you're giving these other things external to you control. And you're not taking responsibility within yourself. Yes, you can't control the way people react to you, or the circumstances that happen, the experiences that you step into. But what you can take control of is your reactions to those particular circumstances. Instead of blaming them, you can empower yourself to take responsibility, to look at learning the lessons within them. Challenges or attackers, like I mentioned earlier about my comment on my page, generally it may seem like it, but they don't come with the intention of truly trying to hurt you. Like, they've got their own stuff going on that they literally have to express this hurt, because generally there's, or this lack of love, or they attack you in some way, shape, or form, because they've got a lack of something in their own state of being. Maybe they weren't given enough love, or shown that this is not how you love someone, or maybe they're being abused themselves, and the only way that they can do or be is they then go and share that same experience and continue to abuse others. Like, if you look at domestic violence, it's a learned behavior. But what in this present, when you're presented with this, like for example, the horrible message that I received on one of my comments, photos, posts on Facebook, is that you don't go and match this dark energy with more dark energy. Like, as I said, I will go and look at this as a lesson to reflect within, but also I will go and have a look at sharing and sending like love to that person as well, as opposed to having a knee-jerk reaction and trying to validate myself and being like, no, that's not my intention. This is not why I did the post. This is my why. How can you not see that? Like, this post is like laced within love and light, but obviously it's triggered something within them. I don't need to know why, but I'm just going to send them love that way. I'm not going to match that dark energy or that low vibrational energy, or bring my vibration down to their level. I'm going to keep my standards, my energy, frequency, and vibration up here. So consider that challenging situations have come to you for some form of healing. So letting this experience strengthen you, and that is what creates success. This is what creates success in a business, looking at everything as an opportunity of growth. Growth is truly an inside job, and so is success. And last but not least, I'm just going to speak into one more illusion. But before I do that, I'm just going to finish up that last bit. Learn and grow from feedback. So again, if you get a testimonial or you receive something that you have some sort of resistance or conflict to, or you don't necessarily understand their perception of what they're providing to you, again, on an emotional level, of course, like on a human level, this might not feel the greatest, because who likes to receive negative feedback? But if you look at that instead of seeing negative feedback, but as a chance to learn and grow from something that then potentially you may or may not adopt into next time you offer the service, because that was a need that someone needed to be catered for. You may think it's just totally unrealistic, and then realize, oh, hey, look, well, you're not my soul client, and you're not someone that I'm actually calling in to work with. So I'm going to get even more specific with my intentions there. So looking at whatever the underlying lesson is, whatever feedback that you receive, is something that you can grow and you can evolve from, as an opportunity, rather than, oh, this is fucking shit, I don't like it, I'm not going to receive it and take it on board at all. You don't have to agree with it, but again, like, it's been presented to you for a reason. And last but not least, we've got, and I could speak onto this for a very long time, but I'm going to sum her up very short and sweet, and it's around money. It's generally the most prevalent thing that people ask and want advice on, and how they can become an energetic match to bring more money in. But it's around the concept of your supply is limited. You can't get enough of what you need. And this is again been quite an interesting experience for me, learning and believing and understanding with like what's going on in the world, that given circumstances that are presented to us, that it feels like, okay, sometimes there's not enough out there for what you need, which is so untrue. All you need to have and to receive is given and available to you when you're open to receiving it. And that was the biggest thing, was the receiving piece. If you're not open to receiving and you're always a giver, you don't have that well-balanced energy. You'll be able to give to somebody else at the detriment more often than not of yourself. And then it might also be abundantly, energetically, giving too much energy, time, whatever it is that you're giving. And I find that with most people that I work with, this is like one of their core values, that this is part of their soul's work. They're here to help people. But when you don't understand the difference in creating boundaries within the help that you can offer, and knowing that also that they have to help themselves within the information that you're giving. If they're not willing to help themselves, but always going to come back to you for that same advice and not actually look at it and view it as like one of the big, like as if they made a $6,000 investment using that value from the retreat before, if they're not looking at it as if it's like a worthy investment of their time, they're not going to value the exchange that you have. And the same, again, it goes back to what I'm trying to speak into, is like your pricing of your services. Sometimes you're not attracting the clients that you're wanting to be of service to, or receiving the abundance that you desire, that you know that's like within your energetic field, but you're not calling it in, you're not receiving it, because sometimes your prices are too low. So again, it goes back to the value of money. So some of the people on that post that could have that information for free to go on that course to create cosmic connection and have an incredible experience, it's all there for free. It's just you're paying for the experience. But again, some people will look at it and they would be like, holy shit, like I would have paid like double that amount, because like that experience was literally life-changing. So what I've found is that with sometimes when you reduce your prices, or you don't price your based on the transformation, then you're not attracting the people, because they're not actually valuing, because you're not valuing the transformation within your experience, within the service that you're offering. So it comes back down to you believing that you're worthy, and going back to the intention, not that money defines your worth, but you're worthy of actually receiving the abundance that your soul's calling in, that you're energetically calling in. And within that also, what was I going to say? Yeah, being careful that with your abundance mindset and working on your money story, and this is something that we go deeper into in the New Earth Soul Biz School, but a limited mind only sees a limited world, and the unlimited mind sees infinite resources around them. So when we live in a universe of fixed resources, sometimes we find that we can struggle to, I guess, call in what we perceive as like our fair share, which is so untrue. And as I said, we live in a universe of infinite resources capable to provide for everybody. If we look at the law of supply and demand, like if you knew there was an infinite supply, you would not need demand. So it goes back to your state of being, your state of knowing, and making yourself an energetic match for the abundance, your desires, the wealth that you're calling in, but calling it in based on, or if you're putting in the context of your service, based on what is the transformation? What are they getting from this? How is this going to change their life? How is this going to open up for them to realize X, Y, and Z, whatever it is that they're lying awake for at night, wishing and hoping that someone would share or illuminate light to their particular issues. And everyone can have true wealth without really infringing on anybody else's wealth. There is enough wealth out there for everybody. It's just that we're stuck in this societal concept of like, there is this 1% of the elite and we're the 99%, and we cannot call in, or it's outside of our reach to have this within our desires. Everybody can have true wealth, and true wealth doesn't actually mean financial abundance. True wealth means wealth of everything, wealth of being, wealth of connection to who you are, wealth of self-love, wealth of health and well-being, wealth of connection to something greater, and wealth again of abundance. And within that, it's breaking down that concept of bringing in and calling in more wealth from the concept of you having to work harder, not smarter. Again, it goes back to what we were saying in the beginning about getting really, really, really clear on your intentions. This is the golden nugget within anything that you do. Yeah, I think that's about all. Money, again, is not an indicator, as I said, of wealth. Money is what is seen as like the quality of life. This is the real indicator of wealth. Money is just an energy. It is an enablement and a byproduct of you sharing and being of service. And again, like expressing your true soul's expression. To increase your wealth, you need to change your energy, so that you need to learn to understand, master the fact that you are actually already infinitely abundant, and really evoking all your senses and making this is like your way, your state of being. Like, what does it feel like? How do you know it to be true? What is the vibe? What are you doing is literally changing the way and your state, your abundant state. And this again is the result of how you will literally attract more money and more abundance into your energetic field. Because probably what you will find that you will attract abundance and you'll bring it in, and you would have done the work, but again, you would have to manifest this abundance in, but you haven't gone to the core or the root cause of actually being able to hold the capacity of this new money that you're bringing in your energetic field. And as quick as it comes in, it then goes out again. You probably already see that, like you'll receive this amazing like payout, or somehow I don't know, someone will pay one of your high ticket services, and as soon as you do that, you'll go and get bills for these random things, and you'll be like, what the hell? Like, why is this even happening? It's because you haven't worked on creating this as a state of being. And working on really anchoring this is like your new money mindset. This is like you are grateful already, knowing that you're truly abundant in this present moment. Not that you will be abundant when someone pays for your high ticket service, that you already are abundant in the present moment. So the greater the wealth you receive is by recognizing that you are already wealthy. So find people that live the life, or are like receiving the amount of abundance that you're trying to work, that you're trying to call in. Allow them to be in your energetic field and notice like their state of being. Like, what is it about them that you see within them that obviously is a reflection of yourself, but you need to activate within yourself so you can have what it is that they see they're working with on an energetic basis. You will find money for, and I mentioned this as well, this kind of comes hand in hand with investing. What I find comes up quite a lot is that people will be like, oh, I really want to work with you, and like, oh, I really like what you do, or I want to come and have a reading, or I really want to work with you one-on-one, like I really want to like you to be my coach. And I'm like, yeah, that's really cool. But I know that as soon as they say that, it's the but, like, oh, but I can't do it right now. Like, I don't have the money to do that. And that's okay. There is a reality of people. But then also in saying that, I would go and see the same people go out and buy, $300 worth of clothes. And I'm like, well, I know that you wanted to work with me, but again, it goes back to what are they valuing? Do they actually value what it is that you're offering to them, or are they valuing something else? So again, people will make money to pay and invest in things that they think is of value to them. They will pay and invest in things that is based on the transformation that you're offering to them. And then part and parcel of that will be when they're also ready to do that. Some people get like, and I see this quite a lot, they get stuck in it's just the valuing of what they're investing in. When it comes to investing in themselves in that particular context, it's so different to buying materialistic things like clothing or whatever it is that they're maybe it's like a night out drinking. There is this misconcept of valuable investments that are worthy. We've been brought up to realize that it's foreign for you to literally invest in yourself. And this is one of the biggest gifts that and blessings that I had to overcome. That was that, yes, I am worthy to invest in myself, to be able to work with the people. And I do that so divinely and so intentionally, which I mentioned earlier as well. So you will find money for things that you value. And if you don't have that, you will be able to, and it's something that you're meant to do, you will be able to manifest the rest to make up the difference. So this is about you tapping into your resources of what you're looking at and investing in yourself, and knowing that this transformation and what this investment within yourself will mean for you, for your soul, whether it's for personal development, whether it's for your business, will then mean you being able to bring in this next level of abundance as well. Yeah, that was kind of like the big point that I wanted to make around valuable investments. And you probably find people coming in and saying things like that. And with doing investments and investing in yourself, whether it's someone that you're wanting to work with or you're wanting someone to support you on your mission, when you're looking at money, money is also a resource. It is something that you can have a look at exchanging in different and various ways. So say, for example, sometimes, and depending on the type of work that they do, I feel called to say, oh, hey, look, you want to work with me? Actually, you have something of interest with me. How about we go and do an energy exchange? So you can have what it is that you're feeling called to, and actually you can offer me something that's going to be in support of me as well. So money is just energy. So it's an exchange of energy. It's not the physical currency of money that you're using. But you have so many untapped resources that you can share with each other that like, there were times where money wasn't even a currency. It is just literally, that's why we call it energy exchanges. You are exchanging energy through a well-balanced, divine, intentional way. So realizing that there's so many different ways that you can exchange your time and untapped resources and skill sets that you have to offer others as well. I would love to speak into this more. We do go into it very, very, very deeply, your money mindset, your money story, looking at it in this present moment, looking at it as in like what's being passed down to you, as in beliefs from your parents, as in like past life, ancestral timelines as well. But yeah, that's all inside the New Earth Soul Biz School. But what I thought I would do is just open up does anybody have any questions? Lupe said, oh my God, how amazing. I didn't catch your messages as you're talking. But does anyone have any questions in regards to what we've gone over today? Because we've done a lot, which is really, really exciting. And I'm starting to sweat now from channeling as well, which is super attractive, especially when it happens in energy healings. Yeah, if you don't have any questions, if this is something that you feel called to go deeper in, as I said, I have a 6-week course running. But otherwise, there's so many golden nuggets in here and so many other illusions that we could go and break down as well. But we would be here all day. So I feel like that's enough, and I feel completed sharing the information with you. So I hope that inspires you to realize through my own story, through myths, through illusions, that it all comes back to having such divine intention. And within your intentions, and realizing that you have these limiting beliefs, incorporating your intuition and also doing your own work, working on yourself from the inside out to literally have your wildest dreams become your manifestations, and manifesting them in quantum time. And seeing how working on yourself, because your soul, your business is just an extension of your soul. This is where the magic is. Oh, thank you, Jan. I'm going to let you all go and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for being here. And what will happen is I will download this and then resend it through to you guys in an email, so you can have and watch the replay for those of you that had to leave early. Otherwise, bye for now.